Skies of change, from plastic bottles to pioneering tech. In the heart of Sudan, where the sun casts a relentless glare on a landscape that contrasts stark natural beauty with harsh human neglect, a young boy named Sami Kader finds his calling amidst fields strewn with discarded plastic bottles. This village, his home, suffers not just from poverty, but from an environmental blight that mars its earthy aesthetics. From as early as he could remember, Sami, with his keen brown eyes and hands that seemed crafted for creation, saw not just waste but potential in the plastic that littered his world. While other children played games or helped at the market, Sami collected these bottles, piling them high in the corner of his modest home. What could mere bottles become under the guidance of a curious mind and inventive hands? The answer to that question is nothing short of revolutionary. Join Sami on his journey from the dust-covered paths of his village to the pinnacle of technological innovation, where his dreams stretch as far as his ingenuity can carry them. Under the sweltering Sudanese sun, Sami Kader worked with fervor, surrounded by a chaotic sprawl of plastic bottles that had once marred the village landscape. Each bottle, cleaned and cut meticulously by his own hands, was a puzzle piece in what would become a groundbreaking creation. The village buzzed with whispers and wide-eyed stares as the structure took shape. Flight, pure, unbridled flight, crafted from the very waste that littered their fields and choked their rivers. In the meantime, Nadia Hussein rallied the children and adults alike, her voice ringing clear above the clatter of collected bottles. She organized workshops under the acacia trees, where villagers learned not only to sort and clean the plastic, but to understand its impact on their land and lives. Her efforts swelled the stockpile of materials Sami needed, turning environmental cleanup into a communal crusade. Across the ocean, in a sleek office shadowed by Silicon Valley's tech giants, Lila Moreno flipped through a stack of potential investment opportunities. Nothing sparked her interest until a grainy video of a young boy and his plastic jet appeared on her screen. Intrigue flickered in her sharp green eyes. Here was innovation, bold and raw, nestled in the necessity of a world far from her high-tech bubble. She reached for her phone, determination setting her features. It was time to bring this young visionary from the sands of Sudan to the forefront of global technology. As Sami stepped off the plane in California, the air buzzed with a palpable energy, a stark contrast to the quietude of his village in Sudan. Skyscrapers stretched towards the sky like the trunks of immense steel trees, each window glinting under the sun. His heart raced with a mix of excitement and trepidation as he moved through the bustling airport, his hands clutching the single suitcase that contained all his belongings and the scaled-down prototype of his jet made from plastic bottles. The first few weeks were a whirlwind. Dr. Benjamin Clark had agreed to meet him after a flurry of emails exchanged, sparked by curiosity and a hint of skepticism. Their initial meeting took place in Dr. Clark's lab, surrounded by gadgets and gizmos that hummed and whirled, breathing the air of innovation and scientific inquiry. Dr. Clark, tall and imposing, greeted Sami with a firm handshake and a scrutinizing gaze that seemed to look right through him. Sami presented his prototype, explaining his process, the design, and how he utilized the specific properties of recycled plastic. Dr. Clark listened intently, occasionally pushing his glasses up the bridge of his nose, nodding slowly. The skepticism in his eyes gradually gave way to a thoughtful intrigue. He began to suggest improvements, discuss potential, and the integration of cutting-edge sustainable technology that could enhance the structural integrity and functionality of Sami's inventions. Months of rigorous testing and refinements followed. Sami worked tirelessly, often skipping meals and losing track of time as he and Dr. Clark pushed the boundaries of what was possible with recycled materials. They tested various polymers, experimented with solar panels for energy, and introduced nanotechnology to increase resilience and durability. The culmination of their efforts was marked by the launch of Sami's own company. The event was held in a sleek conference room overlooking the California skyline, the golden sun setting in the background, casting long shadows on the floor. Lila Moreno, who had been instrumental in setting up the business side of things, introduced Sami. The room was filled with potential investors, journalists, environmental activists, and curious tech enthusiasts. With a deep breath, Sami stepped up to the podium. His voice, once timid and uncertain, now carried a confident and passionate timbre as he spoke about his journey. From a boy in a Sudanese village surrounded by waste to an inventor and entrepreneur in America. He unveiled his plans for the company, dedicated to creating eco-friendly devices from recycled materials, each designed to solve a problem or enhance daily life while protecting the environment. The applause that followed was thunderous, resonating with the promise of change and the beginning of a new chapter, not just for Sami, but for the industry and the world. As he stepped down from the podium, Dr. Clark clapped him on the back, a wide smile breaking through his usually reserved demeanor. Sami knew at that moment that he had not only refined his invention, but had sparked a movement towards sustainability that would ripple across the globe. Outside, under the clear blue skies of California, Sami felt the weight of the challenge he was undertaking. This was not just about proving a point or making a mark in the tech world. It was about altering the very fabric of how technology could be imagined and realized. The discussions had been tough, but the emerging support was palpable. As he looked back at the building that housed some of the brightest minds in tech, he knew he had started to turn the tide. In the weeks that followed, news of his innovation spread. Articles and interviews portrayed Sami not just as a young visionary, but as a pioneer of sustainable technology. His inbox filled with inquiries from educational institutions, environmental agencies, and even some skeptics who now wanted to learn more rather than dismiss. Each email was a testament to his persistence, each query a bridge to potential new partnerships. Back in Sudan, Nadia Hussein gathered the children under the acacia tree, her tablet propped up against a stone, streaming one of Sami's interviews. The children watched, eyes wide with wonder, as Sami spoke about the importance of seeing value in what was discarded and believing in one's ability to make a difference. Nadia's heart swelled with pride. Her friend was inspiring a new generation, not just at home but globally. The journey was far from over, and the road ahead promised to be steep. Yet, with every step that Sami took, backed by the unwavering support of Lila and the intellectual backing of Dr. Clark, the foundation of his vision became firmer. More than just overcoming logistical and legal hurdles, Sami was changing perceptions, one recycled bottle at a time. In this new chapter of his life, every challenge faced was a stepping stone. Every skeptic turned supporter, a pillar in the vast, intricate bridge he was building between his humble beginnings and a sustainable future. In the golden hues of a setting sun, Sami stood overlooking the vast expanse of Silicon Valley, the heart of technological innovation. His company, once a fledgling startup born from piles of discarded plastic bottles, had morphed into a titan of the tech industry. Its core mission? Transforming waste into wonder. Sami's journey from a dusty village in Sudan to the sleek, glass-topped offices of California was nothing short of miraculous. Yet, it was the ripple effect of his work that truly captured the essence of his dream. Across oceans, in the very village where his dreams took root, Nadia held a community meeting under the wide branches of the acacia tree. Children and elders alike gathered, eyes wide with wonder and hearts filled with hope as she recounted tales of Sami's achievements. The plastic they had once seen as a curse was now their ticket to a brighter future. But what of the empty bottles still littering landscapes around the world? What new innovations could spring from the refuse? Sami's story left these questions dancing in the air, a challenge to those daring enough to dream as he did. If Sami's story teaches us anything, it is that the seeds of change lie not in the magnitude of one's resources, but in the depth of one's determination. Perhaps then the real question is not what we have, but what we dare to imagine with what we find. As the stars began to prick the twilight sky, one could almost hear the whisper of the wind, urging us to look not at the ground beneath our feet, but at the possibilities swirling in the discarded remnants of yesterday.